Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this video with Sustainable Wellness Mom. Today we're going to be talking about grocery shopping at the store and learning some tips and tricks. So tip number one, shop the perimeter of the store. The sections you should be shopping in are produce, dairy, meats. Avoid the center aisles because this is where the junk food lurks. Tip number two, choose real foods. We've talked about this before in previous sections. This is just kind of a review for you, but I think it's important to throw this in there. So how do we know if it's real food or not? They come from a mother. Think about that. They are grown. So if they don't fall in one of those categories, it's not a real food. Choose foods that contain little processing and as few additives as possible. If you want sugar or salt, add it yourself. And when you add it yourself, you can choose the amount. You can find natural sugars and purchase and use higher quality salts and things like that. So you have more control. Tip number three, avoid labels with cartoons. If you don't want your children eating, junk foods, right? And the same thing goes for you. If you want to be eating healthier, just avoid processed boxed foods. Tip number four, avoid foods that contain more than 5 ingredients. Also things that include artificial ingredients or ingredients that you can't pronounce. Now, sometimes there are weird things that you'll see on an ingredient label like xylitol. That's a natural alcohol sugar. But if you're not familiar with it, it may be something that you can't pronounce. But let's just focus on things that have 5 ingredients or less and things that you know exactly what it is. Tip number 5, spend a majority of your time in the produce section. This is the first area that you encounter in grocery stores, and it's usually the largest. And while you're in there, choose a variety of different colors, rainbow colors. All of those colors reflect the different vitamin and mineral and phytonutrient content in the fruits and veggies. So you want to be making sure that you get a wide variety of those things. Tip number 6, purchase high quality grains. Grains that include both the wheat and the germ. This is going to help it be metabolized and processed into your body properly. So no refining, no bleaching. You want to make sure it's things like brown rice, quinoa, amaranth, whole wheat bread. If you can get sprouted bread, that's going to be your best option. But I know that that's kind of a hard place to go to for a lot of people in the beginning because it is more dense. So whole wheat bread, organic breads, if all possible, and watch. This is another thing I didn't put on here, but I want you to be mindful of. Watch what kind of sugar they are using in the bread products. You want to stay away from high fructose corn syrups, things like that. You want them to be using real sugar cane. Tip number 7, high quality meats. So for beef, you're looking for organic, grass-fed beef that is antibiotic free. Butchering your own is the easiest way to make sure that this happens. You can ask the owner of the cow their practices as far as administering antibiotics and things like that. You have a little more control. Chicken, free range, antibiotic free, organic is what you're looking for. Yes, it is more expensive, but I promise it's worth it for your overall health. If you're going to eat fish, you want to make sure that it's wild caught. This is going to produce a higher quality of foods and also make sure that they aren't given any chemicals to keep the water clean and different things like that. So wild caught is what you're looking for. Tip number 8, high quality dairy products. Now, with dairy, if you are not lactose intolerant, if you do eat dairy, there's some things to keep in mind. We want you eating small amounts of dairy. This shouldn't be a big part of your diet. It should be kind of more of a treat, something kind of occasional. We want to be looking for milk products that are raw and organic. Some states do not allow you to purchase raw milk, and that's okay. Just get an organic, or the next best would be a whole milk. Anytime you cut the milk, so like 2%, 1% skim milk, what happens is you start to lose the digestive enzymes in that milk, and it makes it harder for your body to process. So if you can be purchasing whole milk, that's going to be the best option for digestion. Watch your sugar content on things like yogurt. We want to be around 5 grams of sugar. That way we know that there's not too many added sugars in there. And definitely look under 10 grams of sugar for your yogurts. So this can be overwhelming. I want you to start with one area. Start shifting your mindset in how you approach the grocery store. Master one area and move forward. So if you want to just start with buying all organic chicken that's antibiotic free, start there. Then, after a couple weeks, add in the beef. After a couple weeks, add in the fish, and start building to a place that is simple and sustainable for you, that's not too overwhelming. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I look forward to hearing all your progress.